So I am going to start talking a little bit about travel. So I have 5 kids most days, some days, and we travel a lot. So my husband's family is in Kansas. My family's in Louisiana. I have sisters in Arizona. I have a daughter in Florida. So, I mean, you know, with being a military family, we have friends kind of everywhere. And with that, we have to do a lot of travel. But I think I'm wanderlust, so I like to travel. It's kind of my thing. I get bored, and then I just want to go somewhere and travel. So, a long time ago, my parents bought a timeshare. And every time they go to use their timeshare, my mom can attest for this, my dad spends thousands adding more points to their timeshare to get all of this extra stuff on their timeshare. And we do get some really great family vacations out of it. Hey, Dory. Hey, Katie. Hey, everybody coming in. Okay, so we get some really great family vacations out of it, but the problem is it costs a lot of money, and I don't have a lot of money. So I started to do research. I knew that I could go to Kayak and get probably the cheapest fares for traveling, but I knew there had to be a better way. I knew that there just had to be more. So first things first, I'll disclaimer this with my husband and I now own a Bluegreen timeshare. However, Bluegreen, like the Diamond Club or Holiday Inn Club, they have, I don't know, $3-4 a point that you're buying. And in each one of those timeshare clubs has different sets of points. I think when my parents travel for like a week or something, it's like 100,000 points or something. And if they're in the Holiday Inn Club, and then if I wanted to travel for like a week, depending on where I'd go, it'd be more in the range of 7,000 to 10,000 points. And that's through Bluegreen. However, it all kind of evens out when it comes to the cost, right? So they want $3 and $4 a point, and I think that that's insanity. And you will find so many people hating timeshares because you spend thousands and thousands of dollars on these points, and then half the time you don't have the money to get a plane ticket there or travel there, or you really don't even know how to use the points. Whatever it is. And then you have to pay maintenance fees on top of that. It just becomes like, hey, Krista, it just becomes like kind of a nightmare. So I did a lot of research for a couple years, and then actually like maybe a year and a half. And then I discovered that I could buy Bluegreen timeshare points for pennies on the dollar, right? So, and this, by the way, this is not the only tip that I have for travel. I'm just going to start with this timeshare tip. Okay, so Bluegreen timeshare points, I got, and if you went to the Bluegreen website, you would be able to pull up what the points system is, right? And it's got the red high, the white, the blue, whatever, and that just depends on the time of the year and where you're going, right? So with that, I wanted to be deeded in Arizona. I wanted the Peoria, Arizona deed because my sister's there. I like to go there. My anniversary is 4th of July, and I thought that would be an awesome place to go for 4th of July. So I wish that I could swipe these comments without missing you. So I found a deed. I went into Facebook groups and I just started reading and listening to people talk back and forth. So many people hate their timeshares and they just want to sell them. Well, here's what's great about that. I decided I wanted a deed out of Arizona, out of the Peoria Resort, Bluegreen Timeshare Resort. It's absolutely beautiful, and I wanted to be deeded there so that I could use bonus time. And bonus time only means that instead of using my points, I can pay a very, very discounted rate, right? So with my huge family, I can't just travel and get a hotel just anywhere I want to go, because how many hotel rooms do you know of that sleep like 7 people? And then if they do, how expensive is that per night? So condos are kind of the way to go. And I know that now you also have the option of, which it's getting so much bigger, and I was super hesitant about using for so long, was the, what do you call it, Gia? Where you rent somebody's house. Help me out here. What's it called? The, what, Gia?
Like B&Bs?
Yeah, like why am I drawing a blank on this? Where you rent someone's house out. Hey, Bethany. And sometimes those are really expensive too. Sometimes they're like cheaper. Like in Oklahoma City, you can rent someone's house out for cheaper than you can get a hotel room. I can tell you that. But so for me, I went onto this site, Airbnb. Thank you, Krista. VRBO. Those are great ones. Yeah. So for me, those are awesome, but they're not always cheaper and they're not always available. So I wanted to get a timeshare, but here's the thing. You can rent other people's timeshares, right? Yeah, of course, you can go to VRBO and places like that, but you can go straight into these Facebook groups. Like for me, I have the Blue Green timeshare. I hunted someone down in this Facebook group. I literally just posted, I want a deed at the Peoria Resort, Blue Green Resort. I want X amount of points. I'm looking to spend $1,500 or whatever. Some lady comes to me. She has 2 different deeds, and really the deeds don't matter that much anymore. You guess when you buy a timeshare, you get deeded to a place, but most people just use their points. So unless you're booking out like 11 months in advance, I know I'm going to travel. I don't know how many of you can book 11 months in advance for vacation, but I cannot. No way. So what I did was this lady hit me up and she said, hey, I've got 2 different deeds. One's in Vegas and one's in Peoria, Arizona. And she said, do you want both or one or whatever? Anyway, we go back and forth, and finally I love you too, Jess. And finally and Jess, Gia's making cookies tonight. So finally she tells me, she tells me $4,000 for 25,000 points. Right, y'all figure the math. It's something like 16 cents a point, right? I don't have my calculator in front of me. I paid really, really, really practically nothing for the points that I got for that timeshare. 25,000 points affords my family 3 to 4 vacations a year in condos that sleep 8 to 10. Matter of fact, I am going in August with some friends of ours, and we're going to be going to Tennessee, Pigeon Forge actually, and we're staying in a 3-bedroom townhome for 13,000 points. And so I still have tons of points left, which is awesome. Okay, so all that being said, you don't have to go out and buy your own, yeah, we're going soon, Krista. So you don't have to go and buy your own timeshare. Matter of fact, I don't think you should, because you don't want to pay the maintenance fees every year, right? So instead of doing that, join these groups, and I'm going to drop them. I'm going to drop the groups in the comments, right? Hey, Sammy. I love you, sissy. I'm going to drop the groups in the comments, but join these groups, and then you can start like renting out other people's timeshares. So yeah, you can go to VRBO and do it sort of more professionally, but if you want to negotiate your price, you can rent these timeshares out for maybe like 5 to 15 cents a point, just depending on the season. And when, I love you too, Sammy. And when people are like desperate, because I don't want to pay $2,000 a year is how much it costs for my maintenance fees, because I bought more points at a later date. So we actually have 28,000 points now, and it's $2,000 a year in maintenance fees once a year, but that's still cheaper than when I was paying for hotels and stuff every year for all of our travel. But with that, we are able to do so much travel. Now, I can rent my place out, right? I can rent it to somebody and I book it for them. I put it in their name. They go check in. They just pay me, PayPal me or whatever. So I highly recommend, number one, is when you're looking for a place to stay, you start getting into these groups and looking for these condos. And not only these condos, but there's RCI Exchange, okay? So there's so many ways to not have to buy your own timeshare and use other people's timeshare and not have to go through VRBO or something like that where it's more expensive, okay? You can actually get into these Facebook groups and just negotiate what you want to pay. Okay, I think I've beat timeshares to death, but if you have questions, drop them in. I have extra links that can help you out, like secrets with timeshares. I can teach you how I bought mine for pennies on the dollar. I mean, I could really just go into this forever, but my main point here with this whole thing is it's a vacation, and sometimes you need to let your vacation pick you instead of trying to control it so much. So if you have not been if you have not been on Google Flights, y'all, I'm looking down because I'm looking at my computer, but if you haven't been on Google Flights, you are missing out. The boat is leaving you, okay? It's leaving. So you've got to get on Google Flights. What happens is, and I'm just going to give a for instance, I live in Oklahoma City. I just went to the Google Flights main page. I put Oklahoma City. I'm not putting a destination. I just know I want to go on vacation. Well, my kids are out of school the 3rd week in May, so I'm going to say I'm going to go on vacation. Hold on.
I saw a bunny.
Okay. I'm going to go on vacation. Let's see, the 25th of May, and I want to come back on June, let's say 2nd. Okay, I'm just going to put that in there, and I'm going to select done. Now, what happens is I didn't put a location, a destination in there so nothing comes up, but there's this tiny little, it's in little bitty writing right above the map, and it says explore destinations. Y'all, this is the key, okay? It's the holy grail of travel. You click explore destinations, right? I'm going to make sure it says round trip. I can take my prices all the way up to any price. I can put my little widget down. I wish I could share my computer screen, but I can put my little widget down and say, I want like flights under $200 a person or whatever, right? And it's going to go in and give me a map of the United States for now, but I can zoom out and I can make that map anywhere. I can put Europe and it'll give me just cities all over the place if you zoom in. So for right now, the dates that I picked, and I said I want tickets for under $200, right? Because I got to buy a lot of them. Well, let's see. I can go to Nashville, Destin, Orlando for $74. Let's see, what is Miami shows? $245. Denver is $57. Seattle is $189. I'm going to zoom out and I'm just going to see if there is anywhere else that I can go for under $200. Probably not so much outside of the United States. But this gives you an idea of how to use this. And it is, it's such an amazing tool. And then you can book it right off here. So yes, I love kayak.com. It's one of the first places that I go. But when I'm like, I just want to just get out of here, like I just need a place to go, I bought tickets for my husband and I several years ago to Macedonia. Now, I wanted to go to Switzerland maybe. I wanted to just go anywhere. But I knew ultimately I wanted to spend a week in Macedonia. And so what I did was I went to Google Flights and I searched from Dallas, Fort Worth Airport, just overseas, okay? And I didn't put a price range. I just wanted to see. And then I figured out that a round trip ticket to Geneva was only $500. It was cheaper than like anywhere. It's any airlines, Jessica. So just Google Flights and it will take you like, it will just, there's little dots on the map and you click the dots and it'll tell you how much it'll cost. And then you can move on from there to buy the tickets. So I had discovered that it was the cheapest round trip ticket from Dallas on those dates was into Geneva. Well, once I got to Europe, those hops are super easy. They're like $60, $70 from one place to another. So it was like $70 from Geneva to Budapest, and then $80 from Budapest to Macedonia. And so that, I ended up getting, it was like $1,100 for all of those 3 stops and back home per person. And that was wonderful because I was traveling all over. So to be able to know and explore Google Flights, it's the holy grail. You got to get into that. Okay, I'm going to pull my notes back up. So number 1, let your vacation pick you, okay? You need to just know where you're going to fly out of and what dates. And then just sort of wing it. And then once you get in there into Google Flights and you pick hard dates and a location, there's also like a grid, and you can go look at each one of the dates and say, oh, well, you know what? If we leave on a Tuesday, it'll be cheaper. And then so just pick Tuesday. Okay, so next, be broad in your locations. Use the Explore Destinations feature. There's a grid for prices on every day to travel. Kayak.com if all else fails. When you're booking flights, you really need to do it before 6 a.m. I don't care what time zone you're in. It sucks. Set your alarm. Book your flights before 6 a.m. So like after midnight, before 6 a.m. because that's when the prices sort of drop. And then I've noticed that it's mostly on Tuesday. After you search a couple of flights, I don't care if you're on Kayak, Southwest Airlines, Delta Airlines, whatever you're on, it doesn't matter. You need to clear your web history. Clear it. Because if you don't clear it, when you go back to search that flight again, it's going to raise the price. Mark my word. Try it out. So clear your web history. Constantly do it on your phone. Especially if you have like iCloud and it's linked to your MacBook like me, clear your web history and then research again. Okay, so we went through the Blue Green timeshares. There's Diamond Resorts. There's VRBO. There's Airbnbs. There's all of that. My biggest, what I want you to take away from this is that you can rent other people's points from Facebook groups and you can negotiate your prices with them, because it doesn't matter whatever money they're going to get from you, and they're not going to let it go unrented. Okay, they're not. So you can negotiate it. Whatever money they're going to get from you is going to pay their maintenance fees, and that's what we all want. Us timeshare owners, we don't want to pay $2,000 a year for our maintenance fees. That's why we rent them out. Yes, we can put them on VRBO, but I highly recommend you just skip that and start joining the groups. I'm going to drop the groups in. Please get yourself familiar with Google Flights. It's absolutely wonderful. I have so many tips and tricks that I really can't condense it into one video, but if you have questions, drop them